Hello guys, welcome to another video, and today we are going to be going through a beginner guide to Valorant. So there's a few things I want to touch on in this guide, and the first thing I'm going to talk about is what guns are generally what you want to buy. I'm going to make another video later about guns, saving, and buying, and that type of thing. But for now, most of the guns that you're probably going to wind up using are the Spectre, the Phantom, and the Vandal. And then there's obviously, when you're saving, you might want to buy the Ghost or just keep the Classic. So why people might want to get the Ghost on the first round is because if you headshot somebody who doesn't have armor, it's an instant kill. But usually you're probably just going to want to keep the beginner pistol so you can save more money to really start slamming them down on the future rounds. When you're using the pistol, you're going to want to tap fire if it's really anywhere further than me in this thing right here. Because if you don't tap fire, the bullets really go everywhere. And tap firing doesn't greatly reduce the speed on this particular weapon. Same thing goes for Ghost. So the shooting in this game works in a way where if you sprint, your accuracy is going to be greatly impaired. So while I'm standing still, you can see how it all goes to generally the same area. Or while I'm walking forward, it's harder to hit, but yeah, it still goes to the same area. Sorry, I'm being a bot right now. But if you're sprinting, let me just sprint to show you. The bullets go absolutely everywhere. It's not just a thing where I'm not keeping my crosshair on the right spot. It's the bullets that they just go everywhere. Same thing if you're jumping. See how the bullets are like all the way down there? So as a general rule of thumb, if you're moving and you gotta shoot, you hit the button opposite to the way you're moving to stop instantly and bring your accuracy back to perfection. So the next thing I wanted to talk about is your spray. So the spray pattern is pretty much the same for all weapons. The bullets go up, then they go left or right, and then switch back to left or right, whichever one they didn't go first time. So here we go. So if we're gonna do this, so you want to practice pulling down to make sure you can all hit, make all of them hit in the same general area, at least until the bullets get too far apart. The Vandal is a one-tap headshot. It's pretty much the Phantom, but it works at further range and shoots slower. As you can see, just trying to keep that under wraps here. Let me show you on here, because then you'll be able to see the exact spots where the bullets hit. So it goes, you gotta go down, you gotta see which direction it's going, left or right, and reverse it. And now the bullets are kind of getting out of control, as you can see there. So let's say I'm at a really distant fight. You can probably keep the first few bullets in check. As you can see here, you can at least get the first few bullets to hit the general area you want. But after that, you don't want to hold it to the part where you're going left or right, because the bullets are going to be going too far around the place for a range like that. As you can see, this is a one-tap headshot because it was just 156 damage. So ADSing in this game is possible, unlike CSGO, but it will greatly reduce the firing rate of your weapon. Can you hear that now? Now hear that. And I can just show you right here. So the Vandal, for example, has primary fire. The fire rate is 9.25 rounds per second, but when you are scoping in, it does 8.32 rounds per second, which is not significant, but this gun you might want to zoom in because you can still get the one-tap headshot, and this doesn't really impair that. Or if you're this far away, it might help you if you're not very familiar with the spray patterns, because then it directly shows you where the crosshair is actually going, and that can be useful. The next thing I wanted to talk about is crosshair placement. Whenever you turn a corner, you always want to imagine that somebody's where you're going to look at, and that your crosshair is exactly on their head. So let's say I think there might be somebody like around here or something. My crosshair, I'm not going to be looking at the ground and turning the corner, or looking down here. My crosshair is going to be exactly where I think his head level is going to be at, and I'm going to peek, and I'm going to one-tap. Do you see what I'm talking about? Or even if he's at a lower level like this, maybe I think somebody could be all the way down there, then I still want to line up where I think their head could be, and I want to shoot. So to build on what I talked about earlier about not how you shouldn't sprint or jump while you're firing, you can actually sprint to get a cool angle, and then stop sprinting by clicking the other movement button. This is called counter strafing, and so you click one, and then you click the other. So this allows you to get a wide angle. And let's say I was holding an angle, and I'm just like peeking right here. I'm waiting for somebody to come into the open so I can headshot them. Well, the guy over here, he could sprint out further than I thought he would go, and then my aim is off, and then he can tap me a few times. And then I'm dead, and I did not predict that. This also leads into my point that if you think somebody's going to sprint around the angle, you might want to keep your crosshair placement a little bit further away from the angle than you originally were thinking of. You could, even if you don't have an overlap between when you're holding the keys, you get enough time to fire off 2 Vandal shots with perfect accuracy. I'll show you an example right here. See those 2 shots are not impaired by sprinting. So that's something you might want to practice and try and blow their brains off. Because let's say that's a head. We just blew his head up, and he didn't have time to react, and we did not go to the location he thought we were going to think. Another general rule of thumb is most champions have E abilities that regenerate, so you kind of want to use these at some point during the round to gain intel if you're Sova, or to help your team out if you're most other champions. So as you can see here, I have Sova's arrow, and I might just want to put it down. Maybe I think somebody could be in that room, and I have it this round, and I don't know where else to use it. And, you know, you might as well try it out, as long as it's not giving away your position. And abilities aren't that expensive, you know? Like, if you were Phoenix, it's going to be worthwhile to use your flash when you're peeking corners where people could be standing. Even if there's no guarantee that they're there, you do want to use your abilities. Or, for example, my C. If I think somebody might be around here, I could send out this guy and try and fire bolts at them. When you're peeking an angle, let's say there are 4 people, or 4 possible locations. I don't know if they're going to actually have people there or not, but one person could be here, or maybe 5, I don't know. One person could be here. One person could be here. One person might be hiding up here. And I think one person could be right here. I want to section off this into 5 separate 1v1 situations, so I'm not immediately swarmed by a bunch of people who can all fire at me at once. So how I'm going to do this is I'm going to move and then click the movement key opposite to the one I'm clicking when I get to the first angle, so I can pop him or he can pop me, but it's a one-on-one there. Then I want to do the same thing to get to the next angle. The next angle, still focusing on crosshair placement, and then take them all down separately. This is going to be very useful.
Revealing area.
If you're playing a champion, you might want to research specifics with their abilities. Like I know Sova has specific lineups that give him huge advantages on the map, or other champions have things similar. So last thing I want to do is I want to talk about how you can use this area to practice. So if you're here, you can just move around the stuff. You might want to change the stuff. This is F3 to open, and maybe I want it to be on medium. And I want the bots to have armor, so I have to headshot them to insta-kill them. I could do that, and I just have to pop them. And then this area can also be useful. As you can see, you can hit clear here to clear it, and you can change the distance at which it is. But you don't only want to use this, you also would want to use this guy to practice, because it can really help you making sure you can hit all your headshots with the spray, and that's just going to be a very useful thing to practice. Thank you for watching. I'd appreciate it if you liked and subscribed, and I hope this video helped you out. Thanks again.